Why it has come after 25 years, he is probably wanting to retract whatever had been said by by one of his predecessors, Pervez Musharraf. And he is now counting all those people who had died as people who had sacrificed their life for the country. Well, better late than never. But as far as this confession part is concerned, we had no doubt right from the beginning that these were not mujahideens. These were the Pakistani army entirely. In fact, there were no mujahideens at all in this war. The first hint came to us on the 26th and 29th of May when we intercepted the telephone conversation between Pervez Musharraf, who happened to be in Beijing, and his CGS, who was in Rawalpindi. And that gave a hint that Pakistan Army is involved in that. And subsequently, of course, as the war progressed, we captured a large number of documents. We captured a lot of identity cards of the people who were involved in this, weapons and equipment. And we also captured 8 prisoners of war who were returned to them. And some bodies they asked for, and we returned those. But most of the bodies who had died on our side, they never asked for it. And subsequently, I know that Pervez Musharraf had to go and apologize to people of Gilgit area, because most of the boys were from that area, apologize to the parents of those people and to try and win them over. But those attempts were taken only to pacify the agitation that was going on in Gilgit-Baltistan area. Also, by now, it's no surprise, because by now a large number of Pakistani service officers as well as journalists have already written a lot of books on that. I know one Air Force officer, Kaiser Tufail, had written this right from the beginning. Then Vice Admiral Khatak, who had also written criticizing Pervez Musharraf and the Pakistani army. And then Lieutenant General Shahid Aziz, who had worked in the ISI and also in the MO Directorate of the Pakistan Army. He's now written 2 books. One, I remember in the beginning, he said, Ye Khamoshi Kahan Tak? And subsequently they have made an English translation of that. And latest, of course, is a very authentic book written by journalist Naseem Zahra from Kargil to coup, because she takes the story right up to the time when coup was. So this is not something surprising even for the Pakistani public. I think it is more of an apology for the people who had sacrificed their life during that war, and also to acknowledge or to inform the public how much sacrifices have been made by Pakistan Army in all the wars, which, as you know, they all lost. So it's just one of those things that he has mentioned.
General Malik, in your book, you've extensively written about the manner in which the Pakistani army was actually planning it. Of course, General Pervez Musharraf right at the forefront of it. And over a period of time, the kind of infiltration actually took place. The fact of the matter is this, because they had gone to an extensive length to cover this up. For the longest time before the global community, they have tried to basically carry out with this hogwash that they had absolutely nothing to do with the war. So would you say that this public admission only goes on to further expose the narrative that Pakistan has been weaving all this while?
Yes, I agree with you, because initially they started it off and kept talking about it as a deception plan. Not a deception plan, they tried to show it as a deception plan. But these kind of deception plan which they tried and they articulated in their statements, etc., in public domain today, you cannot carry on with the lies for a long time. So it was quite obvious to us that these are all lies being mentioned by the Pakistan Army. There is no doubt that today the present army chief of Pakistan is acknowledging this. This is for the first time that a very senior officer of the Pakistan Army has acknowledged the direct and a full role of Pakistan Army in while carrying out this infiltration in Dras and Kargil sector.
General Malik, just to interpret this a little further, the fact here is that there is enough evidence, especially that has been documented by you in your book, where Pakistan was aiding several infiltrators along with their own army. Today, the world must take cognizance of the fact that you have a professional army engaging in one, violating the territorial integrity, territorial sovereignty of India. And this has now come on record. So it is not just about shahadat being given. They are now admitting that they violated the territorial sovereignty of India back in 1999. That's the big message coming across, and the world should be taking cognizance of this.
You're right, absolutely. You know, one of the issue that I regret, if this had been accepted by our intelligence agencies and our political leadership, that this is all caused by the Pakistan Army and mujahideen are not involved in it, as I kept saying during the war also, then, you know, we would have had to call it a war, and we would have then be free to take whatever action, including invasion of Pakistan. But because our political leadership was not wanting to escalate, and our intelligence agencies kept insisting that these are mujahideen for quite some time, so therefore, you know, and we were told not to cross the line of control, our international border. So those are some of the handicaps that we had to suffer initially. But today, when they are saying, I suppose now the world will realize that they will also ask, why didn't we invade Pakistan, particularly as a reaction to what they had done.
General Malik, I want to end this interview by asking you that perhaps in this war, the difference that we have seen in the past, that there was, over a period of time, the political class in Pakistan itself found itself on a shaky ground because General Pervez Musharraf had a different plan altogether, not only to carry out their Operation Kashmir, but also to ensure that there is a political change that takes place in Pakistan. With this particular admission, one thing becomes abundantly clear, that not only were they planning to carry on with their nefarious design in Kashmir, but the fact that they had something more in plan. And that was obviously thwarted by the Indian army, which was led by you.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the fact is that the political situation in Pakistan has not changed. At that time also, the army dominated the political leadership in Pakistan. And today also, let's face it, that it is the Pakistan army which is dictating terms to whoever has been so-called elected in Pakistan. So what you are saying, I think I would add a word of caution here, that we therefore have to be very careful, because their nefarious activities and such action which they took, that cannot be ruled out today also.
General Malik, it's always a pleasure having you on our show. And of course, you've put this into perspective for all our viewers. I must say that perhaps if one has to understand the challenges, the sacrifices that one has made during the Kargil War, the best understanding really comes in from the documentation that has been made by General VP Malik, who led the army from the front. Thank you very much, General Malik. Well, that's a big admission that has been made by a Pakistani army general about their involvement in the Kargil War. In fact, this leads to further questions. That Pakistan all this while has been saying that non-state actors have been behind several other attacks. It is now clear that Pakistan, which still continues with its nefarious design, should be stopped. Thank you very much for joining us on This Is Exclusive. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time with more exclusive stories.
शुरू के 2 दिन थोड़े से टेंस थे, बस उसके बाद एक उनमें से जो बर्गर था टेररिस्ट, वो थोड़ा फ्रेंडली था। उसने थोड़ा, क्योंकि पैनिक अटैक हो रहे थे लोगों को, उसने थोड़ा फ्रेंडली वो क्या कोप अप किया लोगों के साथ। तो वो थोड़े उनसे गाने भी गाता था, अंताक्षरी भी खिलवाता था, उससे थोड़ा बेटर रहा। नेपाल से वापस आ रहे थे, हनीमून पे गए थे, तो वापसी आते हुए उसी दिन आना था, 8 दिन बाद पहुंचे घर पे। तो वहां पर अंदर एक्चुअली हमें नहीं पता था कि बाहर इतना बड़ा ये हो जाएगा कांड, बट अंदर तो उन्होंने 2 दिन तो हेड डाउन कराए, तो कुछ भी नहीं पता चला कि हुआ क्या। हाईजैक का नाम ही नहीं सुना था कभी। तो 176 पैसेंजर्स थे उसमें, और क्रू एक्स्ट्रा जो भी थे 5 थे। हाँ जी, उन्होंने बस जैसे ही हम फ्लाइट चली और आधे घंटे बाद ही उन्होंने उठ के बोल दिया कि आपका प्लेन हाईजैक हो गया, हेड्स डाउन कर लो। तो उसके बाद तो जो सीरीज में दिखाया वैसा ही सब कुछ है। हम तो सब डरे हुए थे, सबकी हालत ही बुरी थी उस वक्त, पता ही नहीं चल रहा था कि हो क्या रहा है। वो तो नेक्स्ट डे जाके पता चला। हमें तो 8 दिन ये भी नहीं पता था कि हम कहाँ पे, प्लेन कहाँ पे खड़ा है। उसके बाहर यहाँ पर आके, इंडिया आके पता चला कि कंधार में थे हम 8 दिन। और क्या हुआ अमृतसर में हमें कुछ नहीं पता, सिर्फ जो कैप्टन बोलते थे कि अब हम यहाँ पे लैंड कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा, संभालना, बस यही सुनता था। नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं खाया, सिर्फ एक एप्पल छोटा सा मिला था, बस कुछ नहीं खाया। शुरू के 2 दिन थोड़े से टेंस थे, बस उसके बाद एक उनमें से जो बर्गर था टेररिस्ट, वो थोड़ा फ्रेंडली था। उसने थोड़ा, क्योंकि पैनिक अटैक हो रहे थे लोगों को, उसने थोड़ा फ्रेंडली वो क्या कोप अप किया लोगों के साथ। तो वो थोड़े उनसे गाने भी गाता था, अंताक्षरी भी खिलवाता था, उससे थोड़ा बेटर रहा।
I think this web series is basically just a constellation of misconstrued facts and data.
It's very, very unconvincing because that's not the way it happened.
It's spoiling the images of the crew.
So a lot of things which were very important to be shown have not been shown in this web series. I think this web series is basically